Hey, good evening to you, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Reynolds on WJHL Plus. We're going to talk about the potential for snow coming our way this weekend. Now, we've talked about this a lot on the air. There are still some variables we're looking at, such as where does the low pressure go? Does it stay too far south? Does it come in a perfect position? We oftentimes talk about that in the winter weather outlooks I do every year, and I did one this year and said we could see that southern storm this year. It's in my winter weather outlook if you go look at that. And if the conditions are right, I mean, this could be the stage for a perfect snow for us with quite a bit of accumulation. So we're watching that carefully. I want to get to the weather first of all for tomorrow before we start on the snow. We are looking at clear skies now. Tomorrow, you're going to find that chance for a few scattered snow showers. You know what? I don't know if that's actually playing. So I might not hit play. Huh? No, but that's all right. We're just looking at the graphics here. So we're gonna try and advance that. But if not, we could have you could just run up and I could talk on there. There you go. All right. So here's a look as we show you Wednesday morning. We're going to see a little bit of a wintry mix here. Yeah, this there it is. Did I hit that? I did. Didn't I? Okay. So showers tomorrow. So scattered showers coming our way for you today tomorrow. Now I want to stress the fact that tomorrow night some of the rain will transition to a little bit of snow. We could see some light snow accumulation. Really didn't get to talk about that much today on the air because of the fact that everyone's wanting to know about the weekend snow. But there's your snow chance in the blue. That's where we may see a light accumulation late tomorrow night into early Thursday. Now, let's talk about this bigger storm coming our way for the weekend. We're going to clear it out a bit as we go into Thursday. And then Friday, the clouds and moisture start advancing. I do want to stress the fact that we have several variables. One is low pressure coming out of the southwest that's going to move into the southeast. Two, we have a huge high pressure system coming down from the north. That's got Arctic air with it. So that supplies the cold air. And then we've got a system of several fronts actually over the south that will help instigate the lift and create the moisture as well. And the Gulf wide open for business. So take a look at this. This is Friday, 4:30 in the afternoon. May start to see snow. I really think the main bulk of this is going to hold off until late Friday. And you'll see that right there. Look at that, about 10 to midnight. Excuse me, that's when we'll see the better chance of snow. Now look at the blue. That's where the moderate snow is. I do want to point out, though, as you look at this, look at the pink down there on the southern counties. All right. And what's interesting about the models, I've said all day, I even talked about it, I think, yesterday, you've got to watch for the possibility of a little warm air coming in. Because if we see warm air, we've seen this in the past with systems, you can transition from snow over to sleet and or rain. So we're going to watch that carefully. And you see what I'm talking about. Here's what's interesting. The models have been updating. This is our in-house model, been updating throughout the day. And now look at all the pink coming up to Burnsville, southern Unicoi County, into areas of southwestern North Carolina. So if that verifies, what that does, it cuts the snow totals right off, right there. It's quit snowing. Now you got sleet and rain, or sleet and at least freezing rain, while from Irwin north is still all snow, and that's moderate snow. You're seeing the dark blue there from moderate snow. That's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, we're still staying snow from Johnson City northward, but that warm air, I'm telling you, it is interesting to watch as it's trying to nudge northward, which would create a wintry mix of sleet, freezing rain, and maybe some snow as well. Now, look at 8 o'clock in the morning. Look what's happening. That warm air is winning out. You got snow on the back towards I-75, snow southwest Virginia, snow parts of Virginia there, and then that mix is trying to take over for East Tennessee. I don't think it'll last long, but this is concerning to me because now, if you look at parts of the Tri-Cities, Saturday at noontime, if this verifies, it is all sleet and freezing rain from, say, Johnson City southward, even some rain mixing in there down along I-40. So that's something I'm watching very carefully. Otherwise, the snow will continue. Southwest Virginia, our northern counties, Rogersville, Kingsport, Bristol, even parts of Johnson City and Gray. And then look at this as we go through the afternoon and the evening, it stays in that general area. And again, this is one of the factors I try and tell people. When you look at meteorology, there are so many maps online, so many people looking at what they want to see. Some people say, I want a lot of snow, so they'll tend to go to those models. Other people say, I don't want snow, they go to those models. But this is something I'm trying to verify with you because now this is showing up more than ever, the pink on here, and want to see how that plays out again next model runs. But that, again, 10 o'clock. Now, here's a wider perspective. You can definitely see that snow coming through again. First of all, the rain showers tomorrow, afternoon scattered in nature, snow on the backside. Now, we're going to take you after that passes by to the southwest because that's where the low pressure is developing. and a lot of moisture coming in from the Gulf Coast. That's a very important feature here. So already we've got the winter storm warnings going up, some watches going up for the Central Plains, Oklahoma, into Texas. Good reason for that. Look, snow in Oklahoma, ice setting up for Texas. And this could be a crippling ice storm for many, from Texas all the way through Arkansas, Louisiana, and through parts of the deep south. So here comes our snow. And again, look at this. This model also picking up on this as well. You'll see that pink showing up here for East Tennessee, lifting northward. And again, that could be where the placement of the low is. It's pushing a warm nudge of air right up into our region. And that does not look like it did earlier today with the heavy amounts of snow you might have seen on our weather maps. That's why I've been so hesitant to put out snow totals. So we're watching that. Look at the pink now right up into the Tri-Cities. Now that snow line has been shifted a bit farther towards the north, while the icing goes on from the Carolinas all the way down into Louisiana and rain down to the south of that. So that, again, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Here's 10 o'clock Saturday night. Look at this icing going on now in Tennessee, where some people I've seen all over the internet putting out over a foot of snow. So if this verifies, it's going to be more icing, and that could be terrible icing here for telephone poles and so forth and roadways. So again, that is just a look there. Here's that longer range model. And again, I've added the freeze line on here. Look at that freeze line. That is Saturday morning. Early in the morning, we're all in snow. But you noticed here, you've got pink near Charlotte, pink near Huntsville. Now watch this. This is going to update as well, because you'll see that, look, the freezing line's lifting northward by Sunday morning. So we'll have to see how far that goes, whether or not we're going to stay in all snow or whether we'll see that mix. And on the edge of this storm, as it departs the area, low pressure scoots off the coast, we'll see the colder air coming back into play with a chance of snow on the backside. We clear it out Monday into Tuesday as well. All right, here's that big swath now. And look at this. This has changed as well today in the last few hours. And again, it could change overnight tonight. This is the latest GFS. This is the American modeling systems we're watching. And look at that. You can see that snow all the way up into our region, but also the ice, the pink there, coming up into East Tennessee, Western North Carolina as well. So that's just one, and this could be a crippling ice storm for many here in the southeast, something that bears watching along with that snow. So here's your pink. This, again, I think this is the GFS model. Still doing a pretty decent job of showing us well over a foot of snow. That's just with this model. And again, that's the American model. I know Slater helping us out. You'd love to see that much snow, wouldn't you, Slater? He said, absolutely not. All right, here's another model. We have a different model for you, but notice here, this is taking all the snow off to our east and northeast. So just a heads up for you. I just want you to be aware of the fact that as we go through the weekend, our snow chances will definitely increase. Could we see accumulation? I think we could. Could we see that interaction with ice? I think that could especially happen in our southern counties, also into the mountains, because you got to keep in mind, and I try and explain this on the air in the limited time we have, if you've got warm air aloft, cold air at the surface, it rains and freezes on impact. That's what we call freezing rain. If you also look at the profile of the atmosphere, you may have just enough cold air right above the surface. It doesn't get to melt, so it freezes. We get the ice pellets you hear. That's sleet. So you're either going to get freezing rain or sleet in all those pink areas. Now, this is a different map, though, because that's one of the maps showing the snow totals here, and that was from earlier today. But nonetheless, if we get the sleet in here and the freezing rain, that could make travel extremely difficult. But one thing I do want to point out, as we're on here, we have not had a very significant snow. We had a Christmas snow a couple years ago. That was just over 4 inches. You have to go back to about 2018. So if you've just moved to the area, 2018, we had close to a foot of snow north of Johnson City, Tri-City Airport, just over 9 inches. So that's our last big snow we had. And if you've just moved here, as I know Slater and many other people will tell you, the interstates are not the place you want to be, right? Especially I-26. So a heads up, if it does in fact snow, you want to stay off that major interstate, because if you notice, say, towards Boones Creek or even past Gray, the interstate has a tendency to bank. And I've seen many, many cars slide off that because they go too fast. They think it's okay. And the next thing you know, they're in a ditch. I will tell you, back in the 90s, 98, 96, I can remember many, many, many cars just stranded on the interstate. We don't want to see that. We've had people cut out of the fence there, north of Gray at the church out that way. We've had that happen twice from people who thought it'd be okay to get on the interstate. The snow fell very heavily. So that's one aspect of this. If we do get the heavy snow, we get inches of snow. you're going to have to deal with that possibility of driving. That's why we say take the time now, whether it's sleet or snow, to get out, prepare your car. We oftentimes use kitty litter to help you get out of the snow, and make sure you have blankets and so forth, ice scraper, the whole works. I've seen many people get out when we have snow and they never scrape the windshields. That's terrible. That's bad for you, bad for the people in front and back of you as well, because you can't see, they can't see, snow flies off your car. So that's just a heads up for you. I don't know if we have the forecast in here as well. There's just a look here at the amount of ice that's going to take place. Now it's over Tri-Cities as well. This is our freezing rain and sleet, not snowfall. This is sleet. I should have changed the graphic there, but this is where you'll have the icing going on. And I mean, this could be quite crippling for some here in the South, from Texas, Louisiana, parts of Arkansas into Mississippi. We haven't seen a good ice storm like this in quite a while as well. So it's just a possibility to see that ice accumulation. And one of the other things I'll leave you with, we've got the very cold air coming southward. There's like a Friday. It takes a dip now into parts of the deep south. You notice the blue all the way into Texas. That will swipe through the southeast. And again, that's also going to bring us some very cold air. So if we have the snow on the ground Sunday into Monday, the storm's gone, we can actually see our overnight lows right near 2 by Tuesday morning, because you're going to have a snowpack, and we see what we call as radiational cooling. Sun heats the earth, goes right back. All that heat goes back up into the atmosphere, and that's, again, why we'll be so cold. So just a heads up, and look at that cold air is going to stay with us Monday. Also into Tuesday, another big shot of cold air trying to come back south again by the end of the week. And, yeah, some of the models trying to spit out more precipitation, so we'll see how that plays out. Are we getting that? You're not seeing anything, are you? Are you? No, you're not. No comments. We're not doing that today.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, so you can comment. I'm going to also be on my Facebook page here in a little while. Just want to talk about tonight again, 14 our low. We've got clear skies out and about. And look at your high tomorrow, up to 47. So a little warming trend tomorrow into Thursday. We'll see a few scattered showers. Here's your 7-day forecast. Again, if you're traveling anywhere over the southeast, I'd say from Virginia, Kentucky, all the way down to Atlanta, Birmingham, the Carolinas, into areas of Texas, you're going to deal with this, whether it's in the form of ice or snow. And right now, I still think we could see some snow heavy at times over our region on Saturday. My only concern, which I've talked about, is that warm air intrusion. If we get that nudge of warm air, keep in mind, I can hear the awls already. It may cut down on some of our snow totals. And again, that's not set in stone yet either. I've seen these models all over the place the last 2 days. So most of our computer models still, some of them spitting out a foot of snow or more. We'll see if that plays out. I tend to take it a little lower right now because everything's not set in stone. And then again, it's really, really variable as to where that area of low pressure goes over the south. If it hugs the coast, we're not going to see that much snow. But if it comes up inland, through the Carolinas, that'd be our better chance of some snow showers. But for now, I just want to give you that heads up on WJHL Plus. And again, we'll have the latest forecast coming up tonight. That'll be here at 11 o'clock on News Channel 11 and ABC Tri-Cities. And we'll definitely be on WJHL Plus as conditions warrant through the entire week, through the weekend, especially if we start getting the snow. You'll want to stay tuned to us right here for the very latest road conditions and the snow and the whole weather report. As we go into the weekend, we have our whole reporters already ready to go. Any likelihood that we do see the snow. I know a lot of you are going to love that, but it's a possibility late Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. Be aware. Don't race the grocery stores. Really, my concern is that you just have enough stuff in the car to keep you warm in case we have stop and go on the interstates, which I've seen many times. Get the cat litter, get the ice scraper, get your coats out, just in case it does happen. It looks like we will see snow. It's just how much really dependent on that low pressure and how much warm air intrusion we get. We'll have the very latest for you coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Again, thanks for joining us right here on WJHL Plus.